Hi, Seth and Megan. My dear son, Seth, you know me very well. You were once taken by your mother to lawyers, and you were asked to lie about me. I taught you well. You turned that down as much as what you wanted to be with your mother. But now, my son, over time, I've spoken a little bit here and a little bit there to you, maybe 3 or 4 times. Not that I haven't tried to get hold of you. I'm blocked from all your social media. Interestingly enough, Kyle and Daniel disappeared from social media after their mother had passed. Now, 3 to 4 months ago, your wife, Megan Bredenkamp, by whatever directive of the supernatural provision and grace and favor of God upon my life, just happened to phone my lawyer. Your wife proceeded to request a court order to have me committed. Now, she could not do that because she made it very clear it would be a conflict of interest, to say the least. My son, when I spoke to you about it, you continuously pointing the finger back at me. You have from the get-go known, if not all, but just about everything. Here's the sad part, my son. You've lied to me, your father. That requires, a hiding. Not a hiding of the mental type. You know that my authority with you as children was never explosive. You know that I never ever raised my hands to any of you. Never. You know that the way that Mick and I applied discipline in our home was based on what I taught her, and it was very just, very fair, and disciplined. Your last disciplinary motive and moment was when you were 14 in Germany. Remember, Seth? Kyler's had one session of discipline, Daniel maybe one after he turned 4. Now, it's been brought to my attention, young man, that you were given and granted guardianship of my minor son. I have custody of that child. Who is feeding you whatever information that you would declare to me that as a family you felt I need to be committed? On the grounds of what evidence? What basis? I've only seen you and Megan once, and that was in June of 2018. My children have been alienated from me. This is the modus operandi of one called Maud and Harold Weitz. Now, if I was so dangerous and so violent, don't you think there'd be a lot of dead people now? You know me, Seth. You know my past. You have spoken to individuals. I have not harmed the hair on the head of one person since all of this went down. It seems to me there's some kind of conspiracy now. I spoke to you once last year, towards the end of last year, I believe it was. And I heard fear in your voice, my son. Now, I want to say this to you. If there's anything going on that I need to know, you should know that between myself and certain of my brothers, we will protect you. You know that. So what is going on, boy? Who was dealing with my children's messages that for every single day I sent a message to my children? Not one of them ever responded. Where are my children, Seth? You see, my son, you know me too. Have I not fought for you for 5 years once, got custody of you? Did I not fight for you after you were stabbed? For 3 years I fought that unjust justice system. Daniel was a minor. I have full custody of him, according to the courts. Now, what is this that you would phone me from the UK and say to me, why was I not at Mick's bedside? You know why, Seth. If you don't know why, then whoever's feeding you information is lying to you. What I don't understand, my boy, is how you, after I begged you to stand up for me simply with no manipulation from my side or any prompting whatsoever, to tell the truth about your father as a father and a husband, while the I Am Truth page vilified me. You did nothing of the sort. Your words to me were, Seth, you don't want to get involved, Dad. You're off social media. You just don't want to get involved. For the grandchildren's sake, for your kids' sake. I understood. But the moment I exposed Leon, after I had phoned him, warned him and told him, it's the very last time I speak to him, because of what he has done and what he is doing. You should know me, my boy. Don't touch my bride and don't touch my children. Will I resort to physical violence if their lives were in danger? I'm sure I would, to defend them, of course, legally. But you know me. I am an upstanding, law-abiding citizen. You know that. As for you and the ilk, I don't think so. It was I who saved your marriage, Seth, after your in-laws had phoned me and said, after 1 year of marriage, and you were away from your wife for 6 months, I looked after your children, my grandchildren. I looked after your wife. In fact, Seth, I looked after you, Roland, Juanita, Sean, Megan, Lisa. You all lived in my house, didn't you now? There was not one time I've ever backstabbed you, betrayed you, or turned my back on you. And yet the first and only opportunity you get to stand for me, you don't? What is this? This is not the way I raised you, my son. True till death? True till death? What happened, my boy? Since when did you become a coward? Since when did you stab your father in the back? Now let me tell you this, my boy. Initially in my investigations, I exonerated you, Kyla, and Daniel. But listen to me, my son. You know I don't make threats. I'm telling you now. If you have in any way been involved in keeping my 2 young children away from me during this traumatic time in all 3 of our lives, I can assure you, I will see to it that justice is done to the full extent of the law, and I will have no qualms, my boy, after what you've done to put you in jail. Good luck with my lawsuit, you said. I think it should be good luck to you and Megan. You should never have lied to me, my boy. You should never have played the game that these people are playing. It's going to backfire on you. Now, one last thing. Megan Bredenkamp, God warned you, not I. God warned you. 7 to 8 years ago, in our house, in the lounge. After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me. Betray me. It's okay. Let me tell you this. You aligned yourself with the liars. Somebody, we will find out who, was writing on behalf of Mick. Whoever put that statement together, it was not Mick. I'll tell you that right now. I knew my late wife for 25 years. She didn't lie. In the first paragraph, there's a lie. I haven't even bothered to read the rest. Why did my children not respond to me? I sent both written and audio messages daily. The night before Mick passed, I sent one through to the house again, to the family, to ask Mick if she'd marry me again. I never divorced her. I never betrayed covenant. And this narrative, that not one of you have taken the time to stand up for me, that they had to flee from my house in terror. Seth, you've crossed the line, my boy. I might be old, but I've got years and years of experience, my son, that you just haven't even tapped into yet. I think it's time that maybe I should take you to the bathroom again. And believe you me, You better get back to me, my child. And you better explain yourself as to why you've lied to me, why you've deceived me, and why you are playing into the hands of those who have brainwashed my child. And don't tell me that my children are not brainwashed. I know what brainwashing is. You don't. I do. It's a serious crime, as is kidnapping. And I want you to know a lot of things that I won't tell you now. But you sided with your wife, which I taught you to do, but not when it comes to this. For a man who his entire life, just about, took care of you and your friends, worked hard to ensure that people did not get divorced for the sake of the children and for their sakes long term. To have you and Megan empower Mick, there's a lot I know. You see, Seth, there's a thing called pace and replace. There's a thing called rope to hang yourself. You, Megan, go to where Kyla and Daniel are because they have been told that I'm this drug-crazed, mentally deranged individual. And you guys have empowered that too, haven't you? For someone who hasn't spoken to Maud for 20 years, you're sure talking the same language now. Why, Seth? What are they trying to hide? That they would try for 3 years now to get rid of me. My boy. I did not pass the pre-selection for Special Forces for nothing. I did not. Something about me that made that selection. And you're about to find out just how I fought for you since the day you were born up until 2018 June. I was still supporting you financially. Even after that, I was prepared to buy that farm for you. You were the last person, Seth, that I thought would betray me. But reap it, my boy. You better contact me. You better sit with me. I don't make threats, Seth, you know that. I don't speak idle words. You know that if you know what idle words mean. But woe unto all of you that have done this to my children, to my household. And you of all people should not throw stones, my boy. You of all people should take the log out of your own eye before you try and take the speck out of mine. Who tells you that I'm mad? Who tells you that I'm dangerous? Who tells you that I'm a threat to my children? Seth, do you know how insidious and diabolical that is? You, my boy, if what I've shed, just this little bit here, is true, I will take you to the bathroom and I will give you a hiding, like I gave you one when you were 14. Trust me, on the grounds of this, I will do it. I will smack your bottom, little boy, until it is pink and rosy pink. As for your wife, unless you guys repent, unless you show true and genuine remorse, which I doubt because you're deluded, you call me delusional. You are the ones that are in deception, not me. I'm the one that for 3 years, I have walked the streets looking for my children, just like I walked the streets looking for you, Seth. And you do this to me?